Good evening. Noting the time and the presence of a quorum, I'd like to bring this January 29th, 2026 meeting of the Acton Select Board to order. We're located right now at the ActonTV studios at 16A Craig Road. We're going to be going into executive session very shortly. We expect the executive session will last about an hour. So, to that point, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session to A, discuss strategy concerning the following cases under Purpose 3, all in Middlesex Superior Court. Beach et al. Versus Cappetta et al. Case number 2581 CV 00314, 40 High Street. Beach et al. Versus Guichard, case number 2581 CV 03080. Beach versus Mercado, case number 2581 CV 01354. Fishman Beach et al. Versus Cappetta et al. Case number 2581 CV 01059. And Nagog Woods et al. Versus Acton Select Board, case number 2581 CV 03174, 45 Nagog Park. And consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property at 42, 46, and 52 Taylor Road under Purpose 6. Discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property located at 75 Quarry Road under Purpose 6. As an open session may have a detrimental effect on the litigating and negotiating position of the public body. I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a second. Okay, moved and seconded. Before the roll call vote to enter executive session, let me declare that in the executive session, the board will discuss strategy with respect to litigation under Purpose 3 and discuss or consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property under Purpose 6, as an open session may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Arsenault? Fran, do you vote yes? Fran, do you vote yes to enter executive session?
Fran, do you vote yes to go into executive session?
She seems frozen.
I'm supposed to say aye, yes. I'm sorry about the inconvenience, yep.
Mr. Snyder Grant?
Aye.
Mr. Charter?
Aye.
And I also say aye, so that's unanimous.
At the conclusion of the executive session, the board will reconvene in open session.
So members of the public that are in the meeting, since we're going to executive session, we're going to have to lock the webinar, and then we'll reopen it in about an hour for the 7 o'clock open session. So if you could leave the meeting now and then plan to sign back in just around 7 o'clock, we'd appreciate that. We can't actually start executive session until you leave. So thank you for your cooperation. mics are live.
Thank
This
you.
is unmuted when you're ready.
Boom, 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 boom. And that's it?
So it looks like people have joined remotely and in person, and we're ready to continue.
Okay, so we're back in open session, and we had a last-minute change to the select board agenda, so we've provided time for resident concerns. If anybody would like to come forward to make any comments, we're going to keep it to 3 minutes. We need you to identify yourself by name and by street address. Do you have anyone that would like to?
There are 2 hands online.
Okay.
One called Vendor.
Mhm.
Should be able to speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, this is Joan Luciani. Sorry, I'm not sure, I tried to use a different email, but anyway, I wasn't sure if I was to talk now about the open meeting violation form or wait until that's the agenda topic.
Wait until that next agenda topic, and I'm sure we'll be to you very shortly, in a couple of minutes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, next would be Renee.
Okay, Renee.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you. Renee Brazina, 26 Taylor. And I don't see who else is on the call, but I am going to be speaking to the topic you guys just discussed at 46 Taylor. So thank you for listening to us, and I think some other neighbors will also talk. The neighbors and the abutters of 46 Taylor and the Acton Arboretum have submitted a letter of support to the Select Board and Open Space Committee in support of the preservation of our open spaces for natural habitats, conservation, and the protection of our community's ecological features. I won't read the whole letter. I'm assuming that you all saw it, but we are concerned that if we don't take action now to protect these lands that abut the Arboretum, if a potential large development could go in there, it could have some irreversible consequences for the land and for the neighborhood. So we're hoping that this will be a really good opportunity, and probably one of the last opportunities, to expand the Arboretum. Because once the land is developed, it's gone, and no amount of mitigation will restore to what we see today, and hopefully that won't happen. So we also have traffic and safety concerns for Taylor Road, but we could kind of talk about those details maybe at another point in time. But overall, the neighbors, and there was like 40 of us who signed it, respectfully urge that the Select Board prioritize the acquisition and the permanent preservation of the parcels that abut the Arboretum. And if there's any information you guys might be willing to share with us, we would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yes, we have all received your letter. We did discuss the matter in executive session. At this point, there's nothing that we can talk about. But certainly, we've heard your concern and expect that we'll hear from you in the future.
Oh, I think you
There's
muted her.
no other hands online.
That's fine, that's fine.
Okay? Got a hand in person. Please step forward. Yep.
I'm Jason Thrower. I'm at 30 Taylor Road, directly next to Renee and directly next to the land she's speaking of. I'm pretty sure she covered all the points that I came here to say in person. As I could review my notes, I don't think there's anything she didn't cover that I wanted to say. Just wanted to make my presence known in person and, just back what she's saying, that we're really concerned mostly with, how it'll affect the Arboretum, how it could affect traffic on the road. There's at least 7, 8 families with children under the age of 8 on that on that street. And yeah, I think she covered it all. So thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. It's a process we have to work through.
You're welcome to stay. It's a public meeting.
It seems like Renee has her hand raised again. We may have muted her too soon.
Okay. Renee, do you have something you'd like to add?
Yes, some of my neighbors are trying to raise their hand because they're texting me, and maybe we could I told them to hover over the black part on the bottom, and there's a hand raise. So anyone who's trying to speak, can you guys do that? I don't know how else to get people to, we have some other folks that wanted to say something.
Okay, we'll give it a minute to see who else pops up.
There is one other hand.
Okay.
Susie Maxwell?
Hi, this is Susie Maxwell. I'm at 49 Taylor Road, right across the street from parcel 446 Taylor Road. In the beautiful woods that we appreciate and enjoy every single day. We look out our windows. But I just wanted to say that one of my favorite parts in the Arboretum is in the backwoods. And it's this little wonderful magical place where you cross over a stone bridge right near the swampy area with the skunk cabbage, and that would go away. That would be part of this parcel, and we would have to, at the Arboretum, would need to reroute that trail, and even end with Habitat for All, that land might be preserved in the back if the town doesn't buy it, but it would be, from what I understand, at the mercy of whatever those new landowners wanted to do with it. They couldn't build on it. It would be open space, but it might be cleared. And that just that experience of someone who walks in the Arboretum almost every day would be really sad for me to see us, let go at this moment in time where we could, really maintain the Arboretum and even, ensure that it has a buffer for our future, for the kids and for the town, and going forward and preserving some of that that's so special about Acton and the Acton Arboretum, not only enjoyed by everyone in Acton, but so many surrounding towns and people who come and enjoy those walks in the woods. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just keep on. Alicia? Alicia Polacki?
Looks like they're in twice.
Alicia Polacki, you've been unmuted and have the ability to address the board.
Try the other one. Just keep both going.
Alicia?
Yes, hi, can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, sorry, I was on my phone before and I was not able to raise my hand. I'm on my computer now. I'm here with my husband. We're putting our kids to bed. I live at 62 Taylor, right across the street from Susie Maxwell, who just spoke, and next door to some of the properties that were being discussed. My husband and I moved here because of the community and because of the Arboretum. We're lucky enough to get a house that abuts the Arboretum. We have 2 young kids along. I know Renee and Jason have commented on this already, that we just really want to be able to maintain the community that we've built, and the access to the land that our children are so lucky to be so close to, and to maintain the community that we've built on this street without having additional safety concerns as far as fly past here on a regular basis, to the point that, we're concerned for our kids' safety being on the sidewalk. So that's all. I mean, we love this community and we want to do whatever we can to make sure that other families can enjoy everything that we have as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay. That ends resident concerns. We'll move to the next item, review of complaints and discussion of board's response to OML complaint filed by Joan Luciani on January 12th, 2026.
So I can, so we, the towns received an open meeting law complaint, which we are required to, under the open meeting law, consider it and have the select board meet in an open session and decide how to respond to it. And so we tried to do that Monday night, but it got snowed out, so we've rescheduled it to tonight. And the purpose of tonight's discussion is to have the board discuss what was alleged in the complaint and decide how to address it and any actions to do to address it, and then provide a formal response to the person that filed the complaint and copy the open meeting law division at the state. So town council is here to help walk us through this, but if are there any questions about the process before we get started?
Nope, I don't think so.
Great. Nina Pickering Cook, Town Council. The board, I believe, has received a draft of a response. Again, this is just our initial take based on the allegations in the complaint and compared with the open meeting law statute, as well as other decisions by the Division of Open Government making similar claims. So this response, again, has been prepared in draft form for you to review and ratify or modify as you see fit. The complaint essentially makes two claims, both around the board's discussion of the 4th of July fireworks celebration. The first complaint really is that the meeting notice that was posted as required under the open meeting law was not sufficient enough to warn the public that the board would be taking an actual vote. The agenda item said discuss potential change to July 4th fireworks celebration. And the complaining party, Ms. Luciani, is concerned that it didn't list that there could be a vote on that change. The additional component that part of the complaint is the complainant believes that the action taken by the board to not fund the fireworks for the 4th of July is in contravention of what town meeting had voted at the annual town meeting in May of this past year. Town meeting did appropriate funds for the celebration, and the complainant is concerned that the select board is inappropriately nullifying that town meeting vote. I separate those two things out in our analysis and in my description for you because one is very squarely an open meeting law, valid open meeting law issue. The other is an understandable issue, but one that does not fall within the purview of the open meeting law. We have addressed it anyways just to make sure that the complaining party understands that we appreciate the sentiment and understand the sentiment. However, as a matter of law, don't feel that it's a valid legal claim, either under the open meeting law or otherwise. I can go into my rationale for finding that there is no violation under the open meeting law or otherwise on both of these issues in any order that you want. So do you have questions on the complaint, or would you like me just to launch into the legal analysis?
I think you can go right into the analysis.
Great. So the primary OML concern, again, was that the meeting notice was deficient, right? Your meeting notice listed a discussion of a topic, it did not list, discuss, and vote. That is really the crux of the complaint, as best as I can tell. Under the open meeting law, there's you need to give reasonable notice of all anticipated topics, which the board is going to discuss in your meeting notice. And looking at how you listed the fireworks discussion, we believe that it was sufficient under both the statutory language as well as the case law that has come out from the Attorney General's office. Kind of most importantly, there's an incredibly similar claim. Things like this happen all the time where someone says, well, I thought you were going to discuss it, but I didn't know it means you were actually going to make a decision. It's understandable. The Division of Open Government has looked at that precise issue, and they have found, I'm trying to find the exact language here. It is reasonably foreseeable that a public body may take action and hold a vote following the discussion of a topic listed on a meeting notice. The open meeting law does not require that the notice separately indicate the possibility of a vote. So as you can see, this is a decision, in quote from the Attorney General's office, that's squarely on point and does resolve this issue. I would say, in addition, this is Acton's meeting notice was explicit in that it didn't say, discuss fireworks celebration. It explicitly said discuss a potential change to the celebration as well. So I think it did give, I think the Attorney General's office will find that it did give the public adequate notice that, hey, if you're worried about them changing the fireworks celebration plan, then you should go to this meeting. And that's what the open meeting law requires. So I do not believe that the board should or need to take any ameliorative action to resolve that aspect of the complaint. Questions on the meeting notice piece? The next piece, again, is the impact of the town meeting vote. Again, the concern is that the board was somehow in contravention of the town meeting vote, which voted to appropriate firework funds. This is simply not within the purview of the open meeting law. There's nothing in the open meeting law that requires the Board of Selectmen comply with all votes of town meeting, for instance. So it's not appropriately placed in an open meeting law complaint. The Attorney General's office is, I anticipate, they wouldn't consider this part of the complaint because it's not within their jurisdiction. However, I think it's helpful for the board to understand and for the public to understand that while town meeting is the legislative and appropriating body for funds, that appropriation does not require the select board or town staff to actually expend all of those funds as voted by town meeting. Town meeting simply authorizes the expenditure. They don't obligate the expenditure, if that makes sense. That is, again, a very understandable misunderstanding that we see a lot in a lot of our towns. People believe, for instance, if town meeting voted to acquire a piece of property, the select board has to acquire that piece of property. That is not the case. Again, you need the town meeting approval, but if the select board ultimately decided that acquiring the piece of property was not on terms that were favorable to the town, you wouldn't be obligated to acquire the property simply because town meeting authorized it. It's the same thing with appropriations.
Okay. Jim?
I have a question about, so since the money is appropriated by town meeting, I get that we don't have to spend it, but it seems that we can't take that money during that fiscal year and spend it on something else. That I think, and this is where I'm way beyond what I know, But I think that then that money, if we didn't spend it on fireworks, would not, it would stay in the budget, and then at the end of the fiscal year, it would be part of our, calculation for free cash, for example. It then becomes expendable.
Thank you, yeah, and that's a question that I've answered in other forums. I think it was appropriated as a capital item. So a
Okay.
capital item, it was $40,000, it was appropriated, and a capital item, we're not gonna use it for anything but fireworks.
Mhm.
So if we don't decide to buy fireworks either this year or next year or the year after, it would then turn to free cash. Any capital appropriation has 3 years before it expires.
Great, that's very helpful, thank you.
David?
So also, we can spend it, council can correct me if I'm wrong, we can spend it on anything that's consistent with the wording passed at town meeting.
Mhm.
So if wording said, we can spend it on celebrations, we could spend it on celebrations. If the wording says fireworks, we can only spend it on fireworks. So, and if we don't spend it, then it comes back eventually.
Okay.
I would, before moving off this, I think this is the only thing, but I would love to have a vote of the board to direct me to respond as drafted with any edits that John and I think are appropriate.
Before that, you want to let the complainant speak? Yep.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Luciani, if you'd like to speak?
Brenda Coriolis, you've been given the ability to unmute yourself.
Okay, I thought that I had my hand raised right at the beginning. I'm having a lot of trouble hearing the attorney. Could she please sort of start at the beginning and go through it? I just couldn't hear her.
Sorry, I apologize for that. Very rarely am I told that people can't hear me. I'll try to make this shorter.
Can you hear her now?
I can, she's still a little bit distant. Could you get closer to your
It's
microphone?
it's the
No.
laptop.
Oh, it's the
this.
laptop?
No, it's this.
Can you hear me better now?
No.
Oh, it's not?
Is your light on?
That's why.
Yes.
Sorry, this is for the TV?
Yeah, that's for ActonTV.
Yes, and this is
Oh.
Okay.
You want to try now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize for that. What I did is I set forth for the board that your complaint essentially laid out two separate claims, one of which was that the meeting notice was insufficient to warn the public that they were going to take a vote on the 4th of July fireworks, and the
But hold on, a vote to overturn. Right, I mean, that's important. It's not just a vote. It's a vote to overturn a town meeting.
Well, right, so I separated, as I explained to the board, I separated out the two issues. For purposes of the open meeting law, the concern really was the meeting notice sufficient? Because it didn't list a potential vote, and the other issue is the impact of the town meeting vote, whether the Board of Selectmen are obligated to follow through with the town meeting appropriation of the fireworks. So I separated those two things out because one is very clearly within the open meeting law, which is the meeting notice allegation, and one is not. The relationship vis-a-vis the authority of town meeting and the board is not something the Attorney General's office will look into, and is not something the open meeting law has within its purview. But the meeting notice piece is certainly a valid consideration under the open meeting law. We looked at the agenda item listed and advised the board that under the statutory language of the open meeting law, as well as past decisions of the Attorney General's office that are directly on point here, the Attorney General's office has ruled that the open meeting law does not require a board to list the potential for a vote in a meeting notice listing the topic as discuss is sufficient for open meeting law purposes.
So can I just ask a question? It talks about fireworks celebrations plural. It does not talk about, well, we're going to consider something that was approved at town meeting back in May, and there's been absolutely no reason or development within the last 5 months that hasn't been there the past 3 years. So it makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense, right?
Sure. So I have no opinion and have not advised the board on the wisdom of any vote they took. My purview in advising the board tonight is purely on whether their notice was sufficient under the open meeting law or whether it was a violation that they need to remedy. As far as the open meeting law goes, there was no violation of the open meeting law in that they took a vote after the agenda item listed discussed potential change to July 4th fireworks celebrations. Whether you agree or disagree with the vote that they took is a policy issue that is a legitimate debate, but not one which falls within the open meeting law.
All right, so basically you're rejecting my claims, which is your right, and now it's going to go to the Attorney General. And I have to write more to them and say, I don't agree, basically.
Yes, yeah, so what we will do is once we finalize the response to you, we'll send you the response by email.
Well, that's by tomorrow, right?
Yep, so we'll send the response by email. The Attorney General's office is copied. You then have 30 days to appeal that further to the Attorney General's office if you're not satisfied with the decision.
All right, and, you know, part of my responding so quickly about this is because we don't have vendors locked in, from my understanding. So the longer this drags on, the less chance that we will have any celebration at all. And voters voted for this 5 months ago. Some voters voted for this that are no longer here. Some voters voted for this coming in and being in physical pain. Right? I just don't understand how you can be so callous. I don't get it. I mean, I think that I would like an explanation, regardless of this open meeting violation complaint form. I think voters deserve it. I've laid out other issues. The lack of even acknowledging that this is part of somebody's culture and ridiculing it, just beyond comprehension for a public body such as the select board. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. All right.
Okay, Joan, this is Dean Charter, the chair. And I understand your concern, and I think it's important that we separate the procedural issue that town council has addressed as far as the open meeting law complaint. And you'll get the response tomorrow. Certainly, you can take whatever action you'd wish. If you're unhappy with the decision the select board made, and I know you're not alone, that's sort of a separate issue. I will acknowledge the fact that we did post the agenda for our next select board meeting, which is Monday night, and I did put in an item specifically to talk about the fireworks.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So I think that would be a good opportunity where we could kind of go into it specifically as far as the thinking of the board, and, you certainly can make all of your comments, and frankly, I'm very interested to hear from folks, and that's a separate policy issue which we don't have to involve town council in.
All right, I understand.
Thank you very much for being an interested citizen.
You're welcome.
So Dean, if I could get a vote on the response.
Yes. All right, David.
I'd just like to make one quick comment before I make that motion. I completely understand Ms. Luciani's concerns and that kind of thing. I just want to say I am unaware of us ridiculing anybody's culture in our discussion in any way. And in fact, going into our discussion for this meeting that on December 15th, I would say that the board was pretty mixed, right? There are three of us, I think, that kind of went back and forth and were persuaded one way or another by arguments or points that other members made. So, and I don't think in any of that discussion did we ridicule anybody. In fact, as I remember it, the biggest reasons not to have this by the part of the board were environmental and the demands placed on staff to be able to pull off the celebration. But I would.
Yep. Fran, actually, you've got your hand raised.
I was just going to add to that. David is saying what I was going to say. The decision was really, for me, monetarily, the amount of staff it takes. And I think that having staff be home with their families on that day made me vote that way, and also environmentally, and that was not out of callousness at all. Thanks.
Thank you. David.
I move that we allow the town manager, along with town council, to respond to the OML complaint with the draft response in our packet with any last-minute edits or changes that are required.
Could I get a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor of...
I think since we have a remote member, I have to call the roll.
So we'll do a roll call vote?
Yes, Ms. Arsenault?
Aye.
Mr. Snyder-Grant?
Aye.
Mr. Charter?
Aye.
And I also say aye, so that's unanimous.
Okay. Thank you. We've come to the end of our agenda. I would entertain one more motion.
I move to adjourn.
Could I get a second?
Second?
Second.
Okay. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Arsenault?
Aye.
Mr. Snyder-Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Charter?
Aye.
And I also say aye, so that was also unanimous.
Thank you.